Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Universe of Magic Travel podcast. I am John, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by Alyssa.
Hi, y'all.
And Johnny.
Hey, everybody, what's happening?
All right, well, we're here for our second episode, and just to clarify, we will be a bi-weekly travel podcast. And for those of you that subscribe to our YouTube channel and joined our Facebook page, thank you. And if you are interested, we'll leave the links in the show description down below. And also, we have some great news. We are now on Spotify and mostly all podcast platforms at this point. I think we're going to be on Google and Apple by next episode, maybe.
Should be.
Yeah. So, of course, if you listen to us on those platforms, hopefully you'll want to leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us out with the algorithm, gets us noticed, and all that fancy stuff. So now that my spiel is over, Alyssa, how are you this week?
Counting down the days till my next Disney trip. It's been a week, but it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
So, which, by the way, 85 days, in case anyone was wondering.
I am 31, actually, so I got you beat. But that is because, and we'll talk about it in the news segment, but yeah, I'm hedging my bets. So,
yeah.
Johnny, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm 318 days.
Oh boy.
I just got back, and we might go sooner. I might try to get down for the convention. I might try to do a Halloween Horror Nights thing. We were kind of talking about in our separate group chat.
Yep.
So I may get down around that time, but I'm for sure. I just booked my trip. We're gonna stay at the Lowe's Royal Pacific for 4 nights, 3 days at the park, 1 day at the pool. And then we're going to be over at the Riviera for 4 nights. So, man, I can't believe I got to wait that long to ride the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster.
So going back to, I think we talked about it last week, that I just booked a trip at that point. And the reason is because like I wanted to ride. I'm basically hedging my bets on two things. The ride's opening May 27th. Typically, in like the upcoming weeks, they have either a DVC preview, which I'm a member of, or an annual pass holder preview. So those three.
Did you get the email?
I did not. Did you?
I did.
Oh, I gotta check my spam filter now, man. Come on.
Yes. Uh-huh. you might have it. You might have the invite.
Let me see. All right. Anyway. Yep. So yeah, that's kind of where.
Stop everything.
Yes, stop everything. If you hear me fangirling in the background, I apologize. Actually, I'll edit that out. But
all good, man. If you're listening to this show, there's a very good chance that you would behave the same exact way John is behaving right now. This is not abnormal behavior to Disney and Universal fanatics like ourselves. So this isn't bizarre one bit.
No, and
we've been waiting forever. Disney makes us wait such a long time for these things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Guardians of the Galaxy related, but West Coast side. I just saw a reel recently that there is a baby Groot on Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout on the Disneyland map. If you go into the map on like the app, you can zoom in and Groot's just waving at you.
That's awesome. That's clever. I like little things like that.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
And not to get off too far on a tangent here, but like if you watch the new Marvel series Moon Knight, episode 2 had a neat little Easter egg where it's like a QR code on a storage locker. And again, I'm sorry if I ruin it, but if you scan it, you get a free copy of the first episode where Moon Knight made an appearance. So it's just little touches of Disney magic that make you go, ooh, fancy.
Man, the first episode of Moon Knight, because this is brand new to me. So it seems also like it's brand new to the main character. So I feel like we're both learning what's going on at the same time, which is making this kind of enjoyable. But the second episode did make things a little more clear.
Oh, yeah.
So I still feel a little out of touch with everything. But if you only watch the first episode, give the second episode a try because it is starting to make more sense.
The second episode was bonkers. It really was. It was great.
I know what I'm doing when we hang this up.
So let's transition to the news. Alyssa, go ahead and tell us. There's only like 1 or 2 pieces of news this week. We already touched on the Guardians coaster. Go ahead and tell us the second piece or the other news.
Yeah, so crazy for the first time ever, Disney Plus subscribers, now we're talking about Moon Knight and everything on Disney Plus, can get discounts on Walt Disney World Resort rooms from July 8th to September 30th. So, which I automatically was like, I was considering going in September, and I looked, and I could legit have saved like, I don't even know what it was, $50 a night or something. Depends on where you want to book, but I thought that was great just for being a Disney Plus subscriber, which if you're not, I mean, you're missing out.
I really do think I heard it was on another podcast, and I kind of agree with the statement that Disney Plus is sadly becoming the new annual pass. They're really
Diz. You're listening to the Diz. I was listening to that
yeah. So props to the Diz for that. It's kind of like, all right, I kind of see your point. They're really kind of taking away the perks because and not to go off again. I feel like we're going to be on a ton of tangents tonight, but it could be topic based. But you really got to think they really don't have annual pass availability, so your one incentive would be Disney Plus.
I'm going to piggyback up for what you're saying. I understand that it seems like that, but I just think it's a marketing ploy. With anything like recurring memberships, where you get one free month, and then you put in your credit card information. And I'm not saying this is what Disney is, but it's similar. It's a recurring membership like Netflix and Hulu. I think they just want to get a bunch of people in, and they expect to keep them in. I think they're just trying to get numbers up. I don't think this is going to be something that they're going to do very often. I think they're going to do it when they think the numbers are down and they're trying to get an influx of some cash.
So yeah, to clarify, it's 15% at All Stars Resorts and Pop Century, 20% at Cabins of Fort Wilderness, Disney's Art of Animation, Disney's Coronado, and Port Orleans resorts. And then when you have all the deluxe, you get 25%. So yeah, I think it's a great deal. I mean,
yeah, I mean, for those of us who can't get annual passes right now and get the typical discounts, like that is a really nice perk because it's kind of equivalent. So, because I'll be there 4th of July weekend right before that promo starts, staying with a friend of mine who is an annual pass holder, and so we got her discount. Yeah. So, which is great, but it kind of compares, which is cool.
I know this won't be on Disney Plus, but eventually it'll be on Disney Plus. Are you guys excited for the new Doctor Strange movie?
I'm very curious about it. Yeah.
The Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies were my favorite.
Yeah.
And he's involved, he's doing the Doctor Strange film, so I'm very excited to see his take on this universe, like on this storyline. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
There also is rumored to be a sneak preview for Avatar 2, which is what? Oh my goodness. When did Avatar come out? Like early 2000s?
Yeah.
Like 20 years in the making. Here's finally Avatar 2.
I'll stay for that.
Yeah. Will it be in the beginning?
Oh, in the beginning. I thought like it would be at the end, post credits. No, I don't know why.
I don't see why they would do that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So hopefully, and we'll know next time we record whether or not I get aboard. I looked in my email, Johnny. I did not have it. So I'm hoping I find it. Maybe you could forward
it's coming, man.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, if not, I'll be like, please let me on.
So. Or you could just say you're John Sheps, not John Oates.
There you go.
Yeah. I got to shrink about what? 8 inches. So.
And grow the hair out.
Yeah. Yep. So all right.
For today, we might as well dive into our topic for today. So
absolutely.
At least what we came up with, some top common misconceptions about taking an Orlando theme park vacation. So we kind of broadened it to include Disney, Universal, any kind of Orlando theme park. So yeah. So what do you guys think?
I'm ready. Let's dive in. John, you want to read one off?
Yes, let's do that. So one of the things that we learned in the first trip that we took back in 2017 is you can do everything Disney and Universal has to offer. You are wrong. You can't. You just can't.
Misconception.
Yes, it's a misconception. And we didn't even touch our first trip together. My wife and I, we didn't even touch Animal Kingdom, and that's because Pandora was under construction. And I'm like, I did a bunch of research on stuff. I'm like, I don't want to even go there if it's, half the park is under construction. So we didn't even touch it. And like Animal Kingdom, when it's not blazing hot, because let's face it, it is the hottest park there
Hmm.
because of all the vegetation. Yeah, we missed out. So,
Yeah, I have a client that I've been talking with about booking their trip, and they asked me, "Oh, do you think 4 days will be enough? One day for each park?" I'm like, I've been to Disney myself. I don't even know how many times, and it's never enough to.
it's never
Yeah,
enough.
that's the thing.
Yeah,
You need to be comfortable with the fact that you aren't going to see everything, and that's okay.
right.
The people that stress themselves out, you know, and what I've learned by being a travel agent is I want to guide you in a direction, but I don't necessarily, I don't know what your interests are 100%. I don't know what type of traveler you are. So I want to guide you in a direction. I want to set you up to succeed and not fail.
Hmm.
And I'd be setting you up to fail if I told you could get everything done in a trip. But also, if I tried to put you in a mindset where that should be your goal, because that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should be to embrace what you're doing, embrace where you are, embrace being around your family, and take it all in. It's like what I tell people is when you're there, usually, I still do this. I'm on my vacation and I'm already talking about what I'm going to do next time. And that's part of the fun. That's part of what makes us Disney addicts
Hmm.
because we're addicted to going to Disney World. That's what makes us who we are. Like I know I'm coming back and I find pleasure in that and I have things to look forward to next time and it's when you're like in one land and you're already thinking about going to the next land, that's when I find my trip speeds up and I'm not enjoying where I am.
Mm.
Yeah.
Be present
Yep.
and be okay with that.
And I think any travel agent who says, "Oh yeah, you can do everything," and they're wrong. I should have a
Mhm.
buzzer like sound effect that basically says, "You're wrong." All
100%.
right, Alyssa,
Yeah.
what you got?
So I'm actually going to combine our next two. So because I think along the same line. So a misconception is that you can just kind of wing it with your dining reservations, and that you don't need to plan ahead. So now I'm very type A. I've been thinking since I booked my upcoming trip about my dining reservations and every possible option and what I'm going to do when and everything. And that's just my personality. So in some ways, you need to plan ahead. However, I do say that once you get there, have a general idea, but don't plan it to a T. Like, I think my favorite Disney memories are when, we got done with maybe a dining reservation and my husband would turn to me and say, "What do you want to do next?" And it's just whatever I fancy at that time. So yes, you need to plan. You need to have your park pass reservations. You need to have your dining reservations. You need to have kind of a general idea of what you are doing. It's always good to have now with Genie Plus. It's good to have an idea of what you're going to do with that. But I
Mm.
also say not to allow yourself some freedom and just doing what looks fun, interesting, looks like it tastes good, like whatever in the
Hmm.
moment.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and certain parks are easier to wing it than others.
yeah,
Some certain parks, and that's another reason you need to have a travel agent because certain parks you need to be a little more strict about what you're doing and when you're doing it. In certain parks, you can be a little more free to kind of do what you want.
yeah. I,
True.
I will I will say that. And like the one thing that my wife did not get with the first trip was fast passes, rip fast passes. But like the we were both sick as all get out, and like I was like raring to go the first day we were there. We were going to Hollywood Studios, and we had a fast pass for Rock and Roller Coaster. It was at 9 o'clock, and it was like 8:30. And so I was on her. I'm like, you have to get going. And she didn't quite get it. Now she's the complete opposite. It's like, okay, we're on a schedule. We got to do this. We got to do that. And like half the time we've discovered in our trips there, and we've been a bunch of times. Like one of the funniest shows on property is the Frozen sing along. I mean,
Oh yeah,
yeah, we're grown and like we enjoy it. Like
what a show!
it
A
is
good
a
show.
great show. It's like one of the best shows, and like, but I think to be present and to be able to laugh, soak up the AC. Even my brother, who is like an introvert times 10, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Well, yeah. Uh-huh.
you're right. You talked about being present, and like I really think that it's about slowing down. People who are there at Disney, people who really like get Disney, there's two types of people there. And correct me if I'm wrong. There's the people that go that think they can do everything. You know, the people that I'm sure you've seen this meme. I am the map. It's like the Breaking Bad, guy. So it's kind of like it's either that or oh yeah, we've done this before. Let's do it again. And relaxed and go with the flow. I've become that. Like, there are times I just want to go on Toy Story Midway Mania and try to best my score. So,
Yeah, well, you were talking about the Frozen sing along. Like, so Universal, like my show over there is the horror makeup
I
show.
knew you were gonna say
Like
that.
that is
So good.
is awesome. It's such a good time. And with Universal, the dining is a little bit different. There's a phone number you can call. I find it a little bit easier, but it's also there's less options. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I feel like there's just tons of more people, but I like to kind of have milestones throughout my day. Like I know in a few hours I'm going to be here, and I know in a few hours I'm going to be there. And that's where the Genie Plus now I can kind of spread things out. And then, all right, I know where I have to be in a few hours, but I have freedom. Like Alyssa said, like I love that when I can turn to my kids. We have nothing scheduled. We got like 3 or 4 hours, just do whatever the heck we want.
yeah.
And where do we want to go? You know what? A test track is a 90-minute wait, but we don't care because we got nothing better to do. Let's go hang out.
Yep.
Let's have fun. Talking online. Let's go ride something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there with
So,
you.
Johnny, what do you got?
Well, I am going to go with you'll get more bang for your buck by staying off property. I hear people say this all the time, and this isn't just because I'm a travel agent and I want people to book on property or book through me. So don't get me wrong. This isn't why I said this. I'm saying this because just being in the bubble, being on property at Universal, yes, you might save some money by staying at a timeshare, staying at a house. Like you stay at a timeshare, you can cook your own meals. You might save some time. But when you stay at the Portofino, the Royal Pacific, or the Hard Rock, your room key gets you to the front of the line all day. That to me is the most valuable thing in all of Orlando, right there. You can ride the same thing over and over and over again if you wanted. If time is money, right there. So there's no amount of staying off property will top that to me. And then now, as far as Disney goes, I want to be in the bubble because that's where the magic is. The transportation, they kind of took away some of the perks, but there still are perks there. When I'm staying on property and I'm using Genie Plus, I can get up and make, a reservation at 7 a.m. But if you're not staying on property, you can until 9 a.m. And you might not think you care about that, but when it happens and you can't get a reservation to something you want and you're riding the Barnstormer at 11 because that's the only thing you can get, you're going to realize it. So you got to look, those are some details you might not know unless you've been there, what the value is. So I don't necessarily think there's value in not being on property.
Yeah, and I honestly think that like there's a whole discussion on whether or not Genie Plus is worth it. Maybe when we have some agents on, we'll talk about that and we'll just kind of squash that debate. But for me, I just think that like being on property, you can trucks to other resorts. If you're on the monorail loop and you're like staying at the Poly, especially during the holiday season, you can hop over to Grand Floridian and just see the giant gingerbread house. I mean, they have so many perks on property. You can take a boat over to the Wilderness Lodge and see the giant tree. There's just so many great things about staying on property that it really makes it worth it. I will say,
service, Disney service
Oh,
is
yeah.
still like the best in the world.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think too since the 50th when they transitioned from select days to select parks for early admission, and now it's every park every day early park admission for only on-site guests. That in and of itself is a game changer. Like I feel like that you can then avoid paying the $15 a person for Rise of the Resistance if you really want to get to Hollywood Studios super early and just wait in the line. Then
Yeah.
you avoid that or whichever it is, whatever that peak thing that you want to accomplish.
Yep.
Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Eventually Tron.
Yes,
Yeah.
eventually Tron,
Cosmic Rewind.
which I will probably sadly never be able to ride Tron because if it's like Flight of Passage, it depends on like what I ate the previous day. Like seriously,
That's what we'll do, John.
yeah,
If we ever get together for a Moments of Magic travel convention,
uh-huh.
we'll get a huge Tupperware. You ever see those videos of like dads holding their kids in like a Tupperware in
Yeah.
front of the screen? We'll do that, and I'll hold you in the thing, and we'll put Tron on the TV, and you can imagine you're on it. I'll do that for you as a
I
friend.
love
Yes,
it.
in fact, one of my ideas, and I think I'm going to do this. If you ever hear a 6'10" man on Space Mountain, it is not a fun experience. So, on my next trip, one of the things I'm going to do is just record myself and the noises and the sounds that come out of my mouth, and I'll try not to swear, but it's the funniest thing because it's very uncomfortable. Like I compare it to getting out of a Space Mountain vehicle. My wife used to drive a Toyota Yaris. Me trying to get out of that car is the equivalent of me getting out of Space Mountain. I love Space Mountain, but it's uncomfortable, and I probably
What
shouldn't
about
do
you
it.
on Mission Space?
Actually, Mission Space is not bad. Like
Oh,
Mission
really?
Space, yeah, it's fine. Like I mean, I have to do some contorting on a lot of Disney rides, but that's half the fun.
All right. Perspective.
It's all about perspective. Speaking of perspective, and we're going to transition to our next common misconception / understanding. Epcot isn't fun for kids. I will tell you, he was 9 at the time, one of my nephews, and he had a blast. There are so many child activities that you can do in Epcot on a day where you just need to kill time, you want to walk around the world. There's so many cultural things you can do. So if you believe that, you are wrong.
I will say when we were there in January, our son had just turned 1, and it was literally perfect because we got there, we did what did we do? We did Frozen Ever After, and we did another attraction, and then he was already ready for nap time. So what did Mom do? Mom went and got a margarita while kid napped in the stroller, and then we just
Yep.
walked around the World Showcase. And then when he woke up, I think it was perfect. It was like when our lightning lane was for the Ratatouille ride, and we went over to Nemo. Like, it really was. He had a blast. He had such a good time, and he was
Yeah.
1. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, and everyone. I feel like so many people are like, "Oh, if we skipped a park, it'd probably be Epcot. I don't think my kids would like it." And I'm like, "No, you're missing out."
I will say my contention with my wife, and she hates this, is I always feel like Epcot is a half-day park. At this current juncture, Epcot is a half-day park where you can knock out all the attractions in about a half to 3/4 of a day. Like if you get there,
I agree, but it's the better half of the day. It's we like to. It's usually we do the same thing. It's so if we do like a late night at Magic Kingdom, we like to wake up, do the pool, have our lunch, and then get a little more dressed up than we would at the other parks, and then we go and we do like the fun stuff in the front of the park. I love Spaceship Earth. Spaceship
Yes.
Earth for me, I love Spaceship Earth, and then we do Soarin'. Then we, go Frozen right before dinner. Then we have dinner. Then we walk around and watch. Like I like the better half of the day. I like the nighttime, seeing the shows, then snacking around the world. Because I don't drink, but I snack a lot. So I love that. I agree with you, John. But that doesn't mean it's not fulfilling. Like to me, that's fulfilling.
Personally, I'm a all day at Epcot kind of girl. I think our last
Oh.
trip we didn't even get to do everything. Like I didn't get to do Spaceship Earth, Living with the Land, Soarin'. Like we just ran out of time. There was just
Yeah.
literally not enough time to do it.
I think you literally waste half your day walking the Soaring queue. That is a ridiculously long queue. I do not like. It's just like, okay, when does this end? And it's not even waiting in line. It's just walking down the long hallways. It's like, okay, where is this building that you're taking me to?
When I was there, last time, like a few weeks ago, I saw a lot of shirts that said I'm here for the snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it had like a Mickey pretzel, Mickey pop. I want to get a shirt that says I'm here for the smells for Soren. That's
Oh
a,
yeah.
like all the smells that come out, or even not just Soren, like Pirates of the Caribbean, the rum. Like I'm here for the smells, man. I love the smells in the
Do you know
rides.
they make candles of those smells now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. We better be careful. I don't know if we're allowed to advertise. I don't know if we
Not
can list
dropping
the names.
names.
We got to talk to our boss before we do that.
I had another thought about Epcot. Oh, have you guys seen Harmonious yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I've seen parts of it.
So when you see the video of it, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. You have to see it in person. This might be controversial, but I will say I think I liked it better than Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom. Like, I think it's my favorite of all time nighttime spectacular Disney has put on. So, like, if you are going to take a half day at Epcot, make it the later half, so that you don't miss it. It's so good. And you can see it from the entire World Showcase, too. So yeah, make that a priority.
Funny story. So we were actually there, I think it was September 2020, like right after Disney opened, and they were doing fireworks testing, and we had a tower studio at the Riviera because we own DVC, my wife and I. And they were doing fireworks testing that night. And like, I mean, say what you will, there's a lot of like people that will say, oh, it's Bargemonious, and all the other names that they come up, for it, that like, but it's a great show and the fireworks are great. I mean, it's just being there. I will say, and this is probably going to get me yelled at, but my mother-in-law who tried to tricks Epcot at night on a scooter, she said it was way too dark, which is a valid point, but yeah.
Yeah, but with the fireworks, it's just so good.
Oh yeah.
Got to get some headlights on that scooter.
There were, and she still complained it was dark. It was. We'll do maybe in the next episode. We keep teasing it. We'll do a segment called Tales from Our Trip, and I'll talk about the trip that was with my in-laws. I mean, I love my in-laws. But it's quite the story, and it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, I never want to live this nightmare again.
Oh dear.
So,
all right, how about
all
we
right.
move on to our next one? So
Yes.
the misconception is that Animal Kingdom is just a zoo.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's like there's not even a great word to describe it, because it's not a theme park. It's not just a zoo. It's like
I mean, it probably houses the best ride in Disney World. Like, Flight of Passage, I think, is the best ride. I have it above Rise of the Resistance still.
I agree with you on that, actually.
You know,
The
and
times I've ridden it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the times I've ridden it, I will say that it was phenomenal. Like the first time I rode it, yeah, it was great. And to be honest with you, Joe Rohde was just top notch, and to come up with something like that on a scale that big, it was just.
And whoever did the video, like the footage, like it looks like you're on another planet.
Yeah,
like, that's what gets me every time.
Yep.
Like, I am flying around somewhere that is nowhere near real. Like, it is fake. This is 100% fake, and everything looks legit. And then Expedition Everest is probably the best roller coaster in Disney World, and probably top 5 in Orlando as far as Universal and Disney goes. And Universal's more known for roller coasters, and I'd put Expedition Everest up there with some of the roller coasters over at Universal. And then Kali River Rapids, I think Dinosaur doesn't get enough credit.
Dinosaur's great.
Dinosaur's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Dinosaur's great.
Although I do not have a picture of us on Dinosaur without me covering my eyes. But it's so much fun.
Maybe we should put those in the YouTube video this week. Last week, I think we threw on some other stuff. So let's chat after the episode, and we'll share dinosaur pictures.
Yes, that'll be great.
Yeah. So, but our most recent trip, just time-wise, I didn't incorporate Animal Kingdom into it, and I just every single day I regret not doing that, which is hence why I'm going back in July just for Animal Kingdom, even though it's going to be the heat of the summer. Like,
oh yeah, but to see your son will be older, he'll be able to recognize things. It'll be better.
and I'm
I mean, it's
excited.
great.
They did just
Yeah.
announce in the last week that in the coming months they are returning the monkeys
The
to the
Tumble
Lion
Monkeys,
King.
yep.
They are returning their new refurbished Finding Nemo musical. Mickey and Minnie will be back out doing character interaction. So like, yeah, in some ways it was kind of serendipitous that it did wait because all these things are going to be returning. So
Oh yeah.
which again
Yep.
emphasizes why this is a misconception that's just a zoo. There's so many other aspects to it that I'm excited to get to experience again.
Yep. So that moves us to our next common misconception. You will automatically get refunded if a promo drops after you have booked. Wrong. Here's the thing. This is why you book with a travel agent, because travel agents do the work for you. We sit on hold. We
Yes.
change your promo. Like, these are all things that we're trained to do.
I sit, I pace, I kneel. I do a lot of stuff on hold because I am on hold for a very long time when I'm doing this stuff. I don't sit still because it's usually, especially when it just releases, it's usually at least an hour.
If not,
Yeah.
definitely at least, yeah.
I've had promos released while I'm on property for my own vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'm a travel agent. I owe that to whoever booked through me. So I'm, luckily it's in the morning. I'm up first thing, before everybody else is up, and I'm getting this promotion added. It's work.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a Disneyland client, didn't even know a promotion was dropped. And I was like, hey, I saved you this money. She's like, okay, great. That's going to pay for our dinner reservation. So,
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Well, so we don't run out of time. Johnny, why don't you go ahead and give us the next one since you love Universal?
Well, Universal is just another Six Flags. So I actually was at Universal with a friend, and I will tell this Tales from the Trip next time. When it's my turn for Tales from the Trips, I'll probably tell this tale. But this person had only been to Disney with us, and probably 4 or 5 years in a row, we had all went to Disney together, and they hadn't experienced Universal before. And, I had experienced it quite a few times. And through friends, they thought Universal was just like a Six Flags, like roller coasters, customer service not very good, like not very family friendly. Just like you go in, ride extreme rides, and you leave, and it's completely not the case. Like all of the hotels there are nice, but the Royal Pacific, the Portofino, the Hard Rock, those hotels, like I'll put them up with some of the top hotels at Disney World. I'll put some of the customer service up there with Disney World, and then the parks. The parks are like, I love immersive experiences, and these parks with like Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, the the Marvel area, Seuss Landing. There are so many immersive experiences in Universal. It's not just about the rides. It's the theming, the food's good. So there is so much more to it. You need to try it to completely understand.
I will say I've been to a Six Flags before, and yeah, it doesn't even compare. Like, I felt like you could tell Six Flags wasn't kept up. You could tell, like, I got on one of the roller coasters and I was like, please don't die on this. Like, no, I think Universal is just top notch with some of their rides, their experiences, everything.
Not that you would. Well, yeah. There's some theme parks that like I don't even attempt, and there's most theme parks that I just can't ride rides on. So it's okay. All right. Well, rounding down.
Wait, one more. I
Yep.
want to say one more thing.
Yep.
With Epic Universe opening in 2025 in Orlando, don't be surprised if Universal surpasses Disney.
I mean, I am thrilled about Nintendo Land. Like
Super Nintendo World,
yeah.
and the Universal Classic Monsters area.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's going to be awesome. You're going to get to see, Frankenstein's castle. You can Dracula. There's rumors there's going to be a creature from the Black Lagoon Dark Water ride. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yep.
All right, we got 2 more. We're gonna round out.
Yes.
So our next one is that you have to go to a park every day of your trip. So, which is, I highly discourage this to everybody because you are just going to be exhausted and not actually really authentically enjoy. But I say, everyone, have a rest day. Your trip is 3 days long. See if you can incorporate some sort of rest time. If your trip is 10 days long, have at least 2 rest days where you can enjoy your resort, the pool, other resorts, Disney Springs or City Walk, or just have it where you can actually see. Because again, back to our very beginning one, where you think maybe sometimes you can do everything, you just can't. Like, there's so much. I still have yet to really fully enjoy every single resort on property, like, and really get to or dine at every place.
Man, if you do, if you do enjoy every like resort on property, you should get a medal for that. There is so many resorts and like things to do there. That's an accomplishment.
True.
Yeah. And I will say this. So like our next trip when we're taking my twin niece and nephew, we have, so this is crazy with 2 like 9-year-olds, but we're doing Beach Club, we're doing Poly, and then we're doing Animal Kingdom. So I can tell you that like the 5th will probably be a rest day. And we're also, when we get to Beach Club, it's just going to be a pool day. Because, I mean, hey, if you are at Beach Club and you are not taking advantage of that 5-acre pool, you're crazy. Because it's amazing. It's worth the cost of admission. I'm a Beach Club snob, even though my wife hates it. I don't care. It's like so much fun. It's the best.
The slide there is awesome.
It's the best on property, I think.
Yes. I mean, yeah. All right.
Ice cream?
Yes. Oh, yeah. All the on-site dining for Yacht and Beach Club and Boardwalk.
Oh, yeah.
So many options.
You can hop on the Skyliner.
True.
Yeah,
take a trip.
Yeah. Literally, my 3-night trip. I'm doing 2 nights at Saratoga because that's what was available, and 1 night at Beach Club. And I have a date with the Yachtsman because I am a carnivore. So they have a blue cheese like butter ribeye that is amazing. It is worth the cost of admission. So yeah, that is one thing I'm going to be consuming on the trip. Yeah. So last but not least, Alyssa, I know this is the one that you wanted to pick out. So I feel a rant coming on.
Yeah. Okay. So when this went viral, I just couldn't but help but laugh. So that childless millennials do not belong at Disney, or that Disney is just for families. So, because I haven't gone to Disney for just as long as I can remember, my peak time was before I had kids in some ways. Granted, it's just new and amazing and different now that I do have a kid, but my bachelorette party was at Disney World. Like, we took a mini moon after our wedding to Disney World. Like, there's so much for adults to do. And not just, like, I feel like when you think adults going to Disney, you just think, like, Epcot drinking around the world. But that's really not it. It's just, there's so much to do. Again, you could have such a fun vacation at any of the resorts. Even if you just did a staycation. Even if you didn't go to any of the parks. Like, you could just have an amazing time. I went with a friend to Boo Bash last year. And it was just the 2 of us. And we went to Boo Bash. We did a Skyliner crawl. So we went to all the Skyliner resorts. We got to just check out the monorail resorts and did some fun dining. We went to like California Grill. This again, when it went viral, I just thought it was the most hilarious thing. Because there's so much to do outside of just taking your kids. That is an amazing experience. But you can have just as amazing experience if you don't have kids with you.
Yeah. Johnny, you got any thoughts to add to that? I mean, you always 100%. Go with your kids, though, right?
Listen, don't rain on my parade. Like, if I'm not harming anybody, I like Disney. Like, let me be. You know, I host a fantasy football podcast, and I don't know necessarily if many people combine Disney to, you know, like if they'd imagine, you know, football, big football guy, Disney fan, like I don't think like labels and stuff, none of that stuff matters. Like you're into what you're into. And, you know, I know a lot of guys, like I host a fantasy football podcast. I know a lot of guys that listen to a lot of fantasy football podcasts. Guess what? I love football. I watch football. I talk about football. I don't listen to it. I listen to Disney podcasts. Like that's my thing. I know I'm not a childless millennial, right? But I'm a dude who loves Disney. And there's a lot of other people out there who do. Let them be. Like, you know, what does it matter to you if they're there? Yeah, like, what does it matter? Leave them be, and let them enjoy it.
I think it's just I will tell you this because I don't have kids. I enjoy watching, and I know it's wrong of me, and I'll probably get comments, but it's fun to watch parents try to deal with, children that have just had it. If you don't know your kid when you're in a theme park and they're at their limits, don't push them. It's just wrong. I've seen so much of that, and it's just like, okay, you need to take them back to the resort because you're starting to impact me and ruin my vibes. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's everybody has a say about everything, but yeah,
Oh yeah.
kind of what you're saying, Johnny. You do you. Enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're not harming nobody. Like, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but we did want to, I guess, ask our listeners. So, do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you have any other misconceptions that maybe we didn't bring up? Because I feel like we could have gone on and on about all this. And then let us know what you think. If you're watching it on YouTube or on our social media channels, leave us a comment or send us an email at universemagicpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, I just want to let everybody know we're just getting started here. We're 2 episodes in, and if you're listening right now, we really appreciate you. Make sure to follow us and subscribe. That way you could keep track of our content. We're going to be posting, we might go live on YouTube sometime soon. Our stuff's going to be up on Apple Podcasts, like John mentioned. We're already on Spotify. We might go up on Google Podcasts. So over the next few weeks, so a lot of things are going to be happening and changing as we grow and develop into what we are going to become. All right. Make sure you follow us on all podcast platforms. Give us a review if you can. And you can find us on Instagram, on Facebook. Let us know if you want more info on booking your next vacation, Disney, Universal, otherwise, whatever. And I specialize in Disney travel, Universal travel. I might be a little more familiar with Universal than some of the other people here, but that's what I specialize in. What about you guys?
I specialize in Disney, and we are actually looking at. I know that speaking of football, we're actually talking about booking packages because like we're in Bills country and the Bills are huge. So like if you're interested in even you're a Bills fan or even a football fan in general and you want to go to an away game, hit me up. We're really interested in doing that. So Alyssa, what about you?
I kind of some of the stuff I've talked about. So I've planned, I'm not even joking, I think 5 Disney bachelorette parties. So whatever kind of event you got going on, whether reunion, whether you are just want to go somewhere new and you're not sure what, you need someone to problem solve, what's the best option for us. But yeah, I definitely do focus on Disney Universal, Disneyland as well. Had quite a few people traveling over there recently. So, but yeah, whatever kind of comes to mind. I just booked someone for Vegas yesterday too. So yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah.
I've never been.
yeah. So I went when I was 13. It was a wild ride, but it was great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so now, and I'm excited to. We have a lot of. I'm sure you guys do too. We have a lot of families traveling this summer. I feel like every single weekend I'm getting up early making dining reservations for June. So I'm excited for everybody, especially I have quite a few families. It's their very first trip ever in their lives.
Oh wow.
So that's
Well,
super
if you
exciting.
do not, and we'll do this next time, I think, or in the future, we'll talk about. In fact, I think the next episode will be right in front of the NFL draft. So we will do either a restaurant draft or an attraction draft, maybe even both. Who knows? With that, I think that is going to do it for this week. Again, like us on social media. And we look forward to the next episode. Thank you for tuning in. This is John.
This is Alyssa. Have a magical day, everybody.
And this is Johnny. We will see you real soon.